Welcome everyone, but I guess we have a introduction malfunction here. I gotta try that again, man. That ain't come right. That ain't come right. But then again, what happened? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Help me out here.
I don't know. I don't
I
know.
don't know.
John Cena may be taking over here. Who knows?
Oh yeah, yeah,
You
yeah. Oh
know,
boy. Hey,
the
you know
la-
what?
the
We'll just
last
move
tour.
on and do our thing, right? Because wow. Anyways, welcome to the Hard Hitting Wrestling Show. I'm Obi-Wan Woodhack the V, and this is the post backlash. Already I'm Raw and getting ready for SmackDown for Friday. And look, man, it's like these storylines are just getting better and better. And you know, I'm loving this, man. I'm loving this.
Bringing a whole different angle of these storylines. As I'm loving it too, and just makes you really stay tuned in to what's coming next, especially with what John Cena is having for us. You know, running into every week is every time we see him. What's next on the agenda for him,
Absolutely.
man.
And one thing that we notice is that it ain't gonna be with Randy Orton. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I know. I
Uh,
think I think that kind of closed our mouths when we said we thought we're gonna see another match.
it left me a little. I don't know. It's To be honest with you, it just left me with a bunch of question mark as to where exactly is Randy Orton headed to. And
Right.
I think right now it's got to be him versus general manager Nick Aldis,
Right.
because I've never seen a match when two referees get knocked out and then all of a sudden the general manager comes out with his security team supposedly, and they don't really stop the match. They're just questioning about the referees. And I'm like, hello, what's going on?
Yeah, I was questioning myself too. Like, we only have two referees on the roster all of a sudden. What's going
Which
on here?
which they got a lot more. They did got
Yeah,
a lot more.
yeah. I feel like, they could have botched this. They could have done a little better with this. You're gonna knock a referee out. That's cool. I'm okay with that.
Hmm.
But let's make it look a little more realistic. But when you bring out the security team and the general manager interrupts a match, then yeah, it just
I've never seen a general manager interrupt the match unless he is favored for someone.
Right.
Could
Yeah.
this play out that maybe The Rock has something to do with it?
Um.
I know it's not part of the
Yeah.
storyline,
Right.
but
Right.
you gotta like come up with something to justify why Nick Aldis did what he did.
Yeah, you can. I'm just looking at why our truth had to intervene all of a sudden. It's like we could go different ways. It's almost like the stars are aligning for John Cena to win every time he steps into that ring.
Until
So
the
it's
very last match.
right, exactly. And it's like, so again, we talked about this before, paying attention to every single detail. And I think we have to pay attention to every detail that lines up when it comes to John Cena, because it may look like an empty puzzle to us now, but who's to say that it all comes together at the end, and we don't pay attention to it, we're gonna miss the mark somewhere.
Well,
Okay.
I'm glad that you mentioned that because I have a list, and I'm not Chris Jericho,
I was
so
gonna
I'm
say.
not doing that. But I do want to mention this because let's look at the rivalries and feuds that John Cena had in his career.
Okay.
One, I'm gonna start out with my first list, and it was Brock Lesnar. All of a sudden, right? Because of SummerSlam, because he is that last opponent that he didn't beat, that got suplex city all the way around. He got manhandled.
Yeah.
Okay, but I have to scratch his name off because he's no longer with WWE, right?
Right.
Um, and if he was to come back, the only opponent really that he probably be focused on is Braun Breaker, and that's for Braun Breaker to go over the top on that one. But then he also had Eddie Guerrero, rest in peace. Then there was Rhino. Yeah, going way back. And then there's another superstar called Rob Van Dam. I'm just curious to see would he come back for one more match.
Mhm.
That dated back to ECW when he lost the title to Rob Van Dam. Okay. Kurt Angle, not wrestling anymore. Scratch that. He might make an appearance and say what's up and then get, I don't know, tapped maybe because he's fragile now. Chris Jericho won't be in the picture because he's on AEW. JBL, could he come back? He's the Hall of Famer. Um, what else? Wade Barrett, he's the commentator. Never know what could happen there. Alberto Del Rio, who is signed with the WWE now. Okay. CM Punk, which by the way, I got CM Punk as his last opponent because of what happened at the Royal Rumble and the Elimination Chamber.
Okay.
Kane, he's just the mayor. He ain't gonna come back. Dolph Ziggler is wrestling without his name. I'll scratch him out. I'll move on to my next list. There's Edge, no longer with WWE. Randy Orton, he just wrestled. Shawn Michaels, nah. The Miz, bragging about WrestleMania all the time. The Big Show is gone. There's Carlito. Remember that ride with him?
Hmm.
And there is Sheamus. They had history. You also have Seth Rollins, AJ Styles, Kevin Owens, and Rusev. So right now I have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 superstars actively involved in the WWE that have history with John Cena. But there's what, 26 more shows left for him,
Yeah, something like that.
which means that he's not wrestling all 26 appearances.
All right.
And it seems like it's just only the PLE. So how do we narrow that down? Or is the last person's the one that he will do towards the end of his career and help move up.
But who's that gonna be that he's gonna help come up though? I mean, I think we already established who's the future right now in the business.
What,
Um,
Braun Breaker?
we got the Braun Breakers, we got the Roman Reigns and the Seth Rollins. These are the catalysts of the
But I feel like
business.
Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins is more of their current, but they're at a point now that they could be going past their prime.
Uh,
I mean, they've been in the business for a while now.
I feel like they're just probably just getting started.
You
I
think
mean,
so?
yeah, I because if you're talking about somebody grabbing number 18 and him wanting to shake their hands, it's going to be a while before we see that. We have to see somebody really establish, control of that situation. And those two are the only two that can do that at this point. But we got to start seeing title changes and not somebody like Roman, which I'm okay with what he did, holding that title for 3+ years, because that set history, something that
Right.
we have never seen in our lifetime. But now we finally got to see it. Okay, well, let's move on from that now, you know. And so um, we've seen the different eras where these guys took control of the business and became champion multiple times over and over and over. But right now it's like we're not seeing that. We need these guys to really start stepping up. And I don't know who we got besides those. You're right. It could Braun Breaker be that one? Is Finn Balor is that guy? Okay. Because you look at who were the main guys and who were the secondary guys underneath them that made the
Mhm.
business run era after era,
Right.
and who do we have now that has that, to establish that right now today?
Mm.
We do we have the primary and secondary superstars that are running the business? I mean, who can we really say is really taking the business to the next level right now? Because AJ Styles is almost at the end of his career. We know John
Right.
Cena is done. Randy Orton is at the end of his career. Kevin Owens cannot stay healthy. Okay.
You got Drew McIntyre,
Okay. So you got Drew McIntyre, maybe a Damian.
Damian Priest.
Right. But these to me are secondary. We need somebody who's going to be the face of the business at the moment.
Mm.
Right. And right now, Seth Rollins is doing that.
A lot of people are praising Dominic Mysterio, man.
To me, he's just a secondary. To me, he's a
Mm.
secondary because you got the luchadors now. You see, and to me, that's all just second tier. We need that top tier. Okay, where are those the Cenas, the Ortons, the Edges, right? Where are those guys at that fought
Mm.
time in and time again, over and over and over? Like I
Yep.
said, we
Those ones that get the biggest pop.
right,
The
exactly.
main eventers is what you're talking about. You
Right,
want the main eventers.
because right now, to me, Jay Uso is not a main eventer. He's going to lose that title pretty soon. So I can see LA Knight, if they push him hard enough, he could be a main eventer. Okay, because he's got that status. Chasing that United States title, I think, is almost done with now. Get him
Mhm.
that briefcase, get him that title shot, get him on that main spotlight, because he's good on the mic. He gets the crowd going. He could do that. You see, and then that can start competing on with the Raw brand with somebody who
Mhm.
like Seth Rollins, who is taking over. Right now, we don't know the status of Roman Reigns. He keeps bouncing in and out. Is he going to come back with somebody else? Is he going to start another faction? We got a lot of variables going on here. But right now, everything is still focused on John Cena, and so that's what's taken away from everything else.
Well, I'm glad that you mentioned about factions, right? Because we're I even lost myself. Jacob Fatu defeated LA Knight, Drew McIntyre, and Damian Priest in a fatal four-way match. Okay. And a biggest surprise is that the faction of Solo Sokoa, who has Jeff Cobb, which was a big surprise, and it left me scratching my head. Who is this dude? Because this dude, I don't know where he came from, and I don't even can't find him in the bloodline.
No, he was not bloodline related, but he has history with former WWE superstars in other wrestling organizations with other titles, other championships.
I seen a picture where he first started, and I look him now like, dude, what happened?
Yeah,
How you get so big? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
god damn. Um, but Jacob Fatu's not improving that. I don't think he's happy. And
right.
I know a lot of people mention that, but didn't we like get to a position where Jacob Fatu wasn't happy with Solo Sokoa and yet they're still together? Right?
Hmm.
There has to be order in that family. And I think that will trigger Roman Reigns to get back on track and put his family back in order because he is the tribal chief. And what he says, it goes. And that status has not gone, except he doesn't have a family to run. And could this be the family to run? Could he get it back?
He could get it back with new face, with new fresh face. I
Jacob
think
Fatu stands alongside with Roman Reigns.
he could do that, but not as part of the family. Because right now, to me, Fatu is doing great on his own. He is a
Mhm.
big pop on his own, especially as champion. He doesn't need the bloodline. He's already proven himself to be worthy as a single competitor without the bloodline. You see,
Mhm. Was
I
it
mean,
more gas, no brakes?
yeah, all gas, no brakes.
All gas, no brake. Yeah. Oh man, I messed that one up. Uh,
Yaramin.
no.
I mean, he's got so many catchphrases. He knows how to talk on the mic. I mean, he takes his real life situations that he dealt with being in prison, and he takes that on the mic and knows how to speak it into the wrestling business to
Right.
make it seem real.
Right.
So I know at one time I did say that SmackDown was boring, but now SmackDown is starting to lively things up. You got the talent on there, and
It's
things are
funny. It's like
starting.
a seesaw, right?
Yes, big time. Yes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
The women's intercontinental championship, I did enjoy Lyra Valkyria defeating Becky Lynch, but that storyline is not going to stop there because Becky Lynch not approving the loss and continue to attack Lyra Valkyria. And I'm just my biggest thing is when is Bailey coming back to face Becky Lynch, and it's going to come soon, and it's going to be ready for. I do predict that in SummerSlam, we're going to see Bailey versus Becky Lynch.
Could it be for the title?
No, no, they don't need a title. They need to they need to solve their issues from what Becky Lynch did at WrestleMania and get it done. And I feel like those two superstars have that caliber. And yes, Lava Vacaria is a unique champion, and I feel as though her shell came. She's coming out of her closet to be the real her with Becky Lynch. Okay,
Okay, then there is somebody else then besides them two then that I
either
could.
than that, watch this. I prefer that than what happened with Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton.
Mhm.
Tiffany Stratton is getting out of her shell. Now she's done with Charlotte Flair. And I feel like the rest of the superstars are helping her succeed. I think Charlotte Flair failed that task. Okay. Nia Jax is really bringing out Tiffany Stratton. But I do feel as though Tiffany Stratton's days are numbered as a champion.
It's possible.
Yeah.
I just I'm just still kind of puzzled on what Naomi's all about. What is she up to? Because
Yeah, that's that wild card, right?
yeah,
Maybe they
'cause-
turn into a fatal four way again. And now we see the women's side of the house
yeah,
for the world title. And then that would protect Tiffany Stratton. She doesn't have to get pinned in order to lose the title.
yeah.
Yeah, I like that. What else? What else? What else?
I see.
Um,
There's
Go
something
ahead.
on Raw that's very interesting.
And what's that?
Have you noticed for the last several weeks, Finn Balor talking to Roxanne Perez?
So I saw a picture of Roxanne Perez and Gulia with Finn Balor up front, like that trio versus Dominic Mysterio, Liv Morgan, and Raquel Rodriguez. Imagine that.
Well, the thing is, pay attention on Raw on certain individual segments when they're walking down wherever in the hallways. All the way in the background, you always see Finn Balor talking one on one with Roxanne Perez, and
Right.
that caught my attention this past Monday because it happened the previous Monday. So I'm wondering, is he trying to start something to go against the
Liv
judgment?
Morgan. Liv
Yeah,
Morgan,
see?
Raquel could lose that title, especially. I enjoyed Roxanne Perez and Gulia actually as a tag team.
Yeah, they were pretty
They
good.
did wonders. They lost to Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, but um, yeah, I could see them being the next women's tag team champions.
Because what if he's already preparing for his exit out of Judgment Day and he's trying to have a backup plan?
Absolutely,
You see,
I'm off 100%.
I like it. I did
I
like it
like
because
it.
I'm
At
just seeing.
least he's not. At least he is not prepared to be blindsided.
Right, right.
That's what I
Yeah.
like. Right.
Hmm.
Um, Speaking about that, with Dominic Mysterio defeating Penta with always the assistance, that man, a gran Americano, man. I'm telling you, like, yo, this signing Triple A and everything else. I mean, this something's got to give with a Gran Americano. Like, they got to catch wind of what he has in his forehead.
I'm just, I'm at the point, honestly, as a fan, that they need to scratch this storyline. To me, it's a little disrespectful. I get it, it's a show. I get it, it's entertainment,
Hmm.
but you take away, the tradition and the history of lucha libre for so many years, for so many decades, what they built, what they stand on, the foundation of wrestling that they, done
Hmm.
for them to give Chad Gable this role to do. I it
You
was
got to
cute.
see the bigger picture. Might be what you just said. It's going to elevate to where we all know the history of being a luchador.
I
A
mean,
luchador.
so
Yeah,
I mean, like I told you guys before WrestleMania, it's gonna take somebody, either Rey Mysterio or somebody, to have a match with him to unmask him and get that mask off of him once and for all.
absolutely. And it's gonna happen. I
It
wouldn't
has,
be surprised. It's got to be an event that's so big. And what event is so bigger than SummerSlam?
yeah, because for him to be already have defeated,
As long as it doesn't get dragged out. That's all I'm saying.
I know for real, because he defeated Ray Phoenix and he has already caused
Hmm.
Penta the Intercontinental title. It's just, to me,
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
even I'm not even Mexican. It's kind of embarrassing for me to watch this.
Well, you live in Texas, so you kind of
Yeah,
are Mexican. Yeah.
nah.
All right.
There we go.
I could replay some of these episodes and you be sound like Mexican.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Mm-mm.
all right, man. Hey, the match between Gunther and Pat McAfee. At first I was like, dude, come on, man. What are we doing? What are we doing, man? Get it over with. I was with Michael Cole and this match already. You know, but I have to give props when props due. And you have to respect Gunther. And we all picked Gunther to win.
Yeah,
But the way he stood tall, he kept his way. And I like that. He gave the proper respect to Pat McAfee. He stood up. But of course, Gunther was the best. But you will not see Gunther harass the commentators anymore.
no,
On that note, the winner between the main event of Saturday night main event, which I don't even know if it's the main event, is no other than Jey Uso versus Logan Paul for the World Heavyweight Championship. And I think once again, Jey Uso may not give that respect of main eventing a was it PLE? Even though it's not PLE, it's going to be live on NBC, but it's also going to be on Peacock.
mm-hmm.
But it's overshadowed by this match right here. Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker versus CM Punk and Sami Zayn. Okay. But
Yeah.
back to this match. The winner of this match goes against Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship.
Right.
And I say it that way because whoever wins will have the title, but it's going to be defended against Gunther. And it's almost like Gunther's the champion.
Right.
The title will change. The question is it going to be Saturday night or will it be with Gunther?
And I think he's going against Gunther after Money in the Bank, correct?
I think it's that exact premium live event. Yes. Which begs to differ that if it does, that title's more of a risk to get changed hands again, depending on the match. Where when are they going to have this Money in the Bank match? Is it going to be in the main event for the men's?
Right.
Would it be in the middle? Like, what's going to happen?
Right.
And again, it's like Jey Uso still hasn't had a main event. The only time he main evented was the regular Raw shows.
Hmm.
Mm.
Yeah,
Mm.
I'm not liking this title run. They're just adding too many variables to him right now. You
Yes,
know
yes, you're
how
absolutely right.
how they allow Seth Rollins to beat him by disqualification,
Hmm.
right? And then he gets attacked by Logan Paul. I mean, he's pretty much getting called out by Gunther. I mean, it's just like he's just getting pulled in different directions instead of just concentrating on one person as a champion.
Jey Uso came to the rescue for CM Punk and Sami Zayn, and he looked like a jobber.
Yeah,
He ain't do nothing.
no.
That's crazy. You're a heavyweight champion, and you didn't look like a champion.
And that just leads me to say that I think it's not going to be somebody else is going to wind up joining Seth Rollins, and
Oh, absolutely.
but I
Yes,
think
it's
I
going to
think
be third.
but I think it's going to be somebody that's staring us right in the face right now.
Logan Paul.
No, no. I'm thinking it's going to be Sami Zayn.
Oh, you think he's going to turn his back on CM Punk?
I think so.
Oh man, you so dirty.
I'm sorry. I
You
mean,
so dirty.
we've seen Sami Zayn do this kind of stuff in the past, and I know we're not. I don't like to bring up the past. We don't like to. We shouldn't bring up somebody's past. But when you talk about the wrestling industry, things like that seem to come up. And I just had a flashback Monday night when he had that chair in his hand. I was like, oh,
Oh
please. I
yes,
said,
yes, I
don't do
did
it.
see that.
It,
Yes,
it. it was a tease. It did not happen. However, in order for this to continue to drag on and to put Seth Rollins on that pedestal
you're
as
dirty, man. You're
that
dirty. You're dirty.
once he was once that Monday Night Messiah. Remember that, right? To get him back on that pedestal, he needs somebody else, and I'm telling you, someone like Sami Zayn could do it. Logan Paul does not fit the description on
Uh,
that.
yeah, I know, I know. He's individual. He's not trustworthy.
Right.
But man, you just made a lot of sense. I didn't want to think like that because I did see the picture, the comparison of the Shield, and that picture with Sami Zayn. I'm like, oh yeah, no, no, no. But then he'll be just like Kevin Owens.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And then Kevin Owens will come back and prove his point that Sami
Hmm.
Zayn was who he is the whole time.
Yeah, absolutely. You got a point there, man. I got to give
And
it to you.
CM Punk is going to be left to wonder, hey, how am I going to figure this out by myself? I can't figure this out by myself.
Be a
Then,
champion. Be a champion. Be my champion. The Rock is the key.
so
And what else not be with John Cena? And then backstab him and get that title shot. It's a lot. It's a lot to deliver, and that's
yeah,
okay. It's a
yeah,
lot to deliver, but we'll marinate it for a while. We will definitely do that. Um, and then we had John Cena versus Randy Orton We just talked about this to where Randy Orton should be the champion, but we've been here before where we thought that, and we witnessed a new champion not to be champion. And it just boils down to where John Cena will keep that title to the very last premium live event that he will appear, and he will lose that title. The question is how, who, and when, right? In my predictions, the last PLE, maybe at Survivor Series. I was thinking about SummerSlam because that his worst record is at SummerSlam. But if he wants to end it right, it'll be Survivor Series War Games. Probably so. But more on that match. We already established the stuff with Randy Orton, but John Cena's character is slightly changing. And if you stuck around after the show, John Cena was outside the ring staring at the championship belt. And then it came to realization. Now, I am a retired from the military for 23 years. And whether you're retired or you make a decision you're getting out, there's always the unknown. And
Hmm.
the unknown is you don't know what the future holds for you because you've been doing this job for so long. Now, of course, John Cena is on Hollywood, so he's set already. But when you dedicate everything, when you dedicate your whole entire life to be a professional wrestler, to be this entertainer, you got to feel something. You can't always feel cold, Hector.
Hmm.
I think he's realizing his last days are coming, and that sourness, and the fans said, "Thank you, Cena." He's getting soft. He is changing, and sooner or later, he's gonna be that baby face until our truth messed it all up. So there you go.
Yeah, I mean, I know this is not the first time that this has happened.
Mm-hmm.
The superstar has to control the crowd, but if you allow the crowd to control the superstar, then it starts changing the storylines
Mm-hmm.
and starts throwing things off target. If if we are to keep John Cena as this heel and he's going to stick to his word and say he's going to walk away with this title till the very last day, then that's what we need to see. But it seems
Mm-hmm.
like the fans don't want to see that, and they want him back to where he's the baby face. And honestly, if he is the baby face, he's for sure going to walk away with that title. Who's going to beat him for that title? If you got the crowd on his side, for real. I want to see.
You can always have people on your side. That doesn't mean you're gonna win every battle.
I mean, because I'm really liking what I'm seeing now. He is being true to what he's saying he's going to do.
Yeah, I mean that's fine and dandy, but just because you're going to do and be true to what you say doesn't always mean it's going to go that way.
Well,
You will
so far,
strive to continue and hopefully that you accomplish your goals, but let's be realistic. Not all goals are going to be accomplished.
I
We
get
have
that.
to accept that sometimes.
But if the
You,
WWE is going to go to a different, if they're trying to go to a different angle with another title, then why not let him walk away with this title
I
for real?
understand that. You got a great point there. You do.
So I mean, keep him as the heel and let him walk away with the belt at the end of his tour and see where we go. What Triple H goes with as far as making another title, retiring the Universal Championship.
Actually, that title holds two belts.
Right. So is that does he? So when he says that everybody starts back at zero, is that's what he meaning that he retires his belt and everybody starts back at zero with the Universal because Universal is not going to exist anymore? I
Well,
mean,
Universal is only have a few champions,
yeah,
but to call yourself the WWE champion, well, that's a laundry list of people going back to Hulk Hogan days.
yeah.
So, yeah, um, I see your point. I still feel like you cannot erase history.
Right. You can't. You're right.
You can't. And to start at zero is nonsense because you could restart, but you cannot start all over. That's the biggest takeaway on this.
Yeah, because I was trying to understand what he told why he told Randy Orton that you will start back at zero. That just don't make no sense. I mean, you
Make
can't
no
take
sense because a world title is a world title. Like John Cena is a 17 uh, time world champion, but that's a combination of the WWE champion and the world heavyweight champion.
right.
Any title with the word world in front of it is a major title, and that's why his numbers went up. So you're right. Confusing, but hey, every heel sometimes sounds confusing as well. You know what I mean? You be saying some gibberish stuff, and like, oh yeah, it's gonna be this way, and then it doesn't go that way.
You know, because I know this is going to sound kind of weird, but you know, when he says that he wants to shake the hand of the man who gets number 18, I feel like he's the only one who can get to 18.
Just add one more, lose, and win it later.
Right, exactly. And I mean, and that would just stretch it even further out. But what are you going to do? Shake your own hand and saying that
That
you
and
did it?
then go off and retire to the sunset with the championship. Great
Yeah,
idea. Yes,
because
absolutely.
you could mistakenly give our truth the title and make him the oldest world heavyweight champion
Uh,
for a minute. Look, Kane was WWE champion for one day before he lost it. You can
Rey
do that
Mysterio lost it the same day.
exactly. So you can do that with our truth and shock the world and and
Hmm.
and throw a twist in it and get John Cena back to 18 and say it was all a fluke, or just keep it running the way it is and just he just making a point that. But if you're gonna but if our truth is getting involved in this, then something got to give. I'm sorry, something got
Yeah.
to give. Your childhood hero, and now all of a sudden you want to entwine in this storyline.
Mm, I know. I know. I know.
And
But
I did text you, right? Tell you that he was the only superstar ever to get double double the finisher moves and not participate in a match in the PLE match.
yeah, that's
He got
crazy.
arcade.
Crazy. Yeah. Well, hey, you know what else is crazy is this summer, starting June 1st. I know it's not summer, but man, the temperature is rising, and there's no other than Wrestling with Character. It's a
hmm
certified summer bonafide fun presented by Ken's Cards. We had Mr. Kurt last week live on our show, and definitely once again advertising the real one, better known as Enzo Amore. He will be live on Sunday, June 1st at the VFW Post 511, New Britain, Connecticut. You can interact with all these superstars. The show starts, or the pre show starts at 5 p.m., but the show actually starts at 6. They got sketchy comedy, action packed wrestling, excuse me, sound and visual effects, singing and dancing, and of course, the best of the best is the audience participation. You can get your tickets and information at wrestlingwithcharacterlive.com, or you can visit my website at hhwshow.com with all that information on the homepage. It is Wrestling with Character, and I'm definitely going to be there, as well as the East Hartford Little League baseball, which they are celebrating 75 years.
Wow.
That's a long time, man. Long 75 years for Little League. Big ups to them. Of course, I am part of that program myself as one of the coaches and stuff. So it is pretty awesome. But yes, please, 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 if you're in my local area, wrestlingwithcharacterlive.com, or you know what? You could always donate, buy some tickets and donate them. That's awesome because the proceeds go to the East Hartford Little League, helping them do their fundraiser and everything else. And besides, this show like is no other than any other wrestling show, man. It's quite an experience. You got to check it out. Man, my kids are in it. Like I said, Enzo was there last month, and He's definitely gonna be here this one, and there was breaking news about who he's gonna be facing against, so you don't want to miss it. Also, you don't want to miss also is the fantasy tournaments that's happening with hhwshow.com. We got one coming up starting Monday, but right now the Fantasy Hall of Fame Cup goes to the Macho Man, Randy Savage. We had 16 names brought up for the WWE Hall of Famers. And you got to check out the website and check out the bracketology because it's quite amazing of all the participants. And once again, it was a Fantasy Hall of Fame Cup. Other winners, the WrestleMania Cup belongs to Seth Rollins, and coincidentally, on the women's side of the house, Becky Lynch. And coming up on Monday, we have the round of 16, and this is the elite tag teams of the WWE. Starting off with the first match, the Road Warriors versus the Bushwhackers, the Hart Foundations versus the Natural Disasters, the Dudley Boys versus the Rock and Roll Express, the Steiner Brothers versus the Wild Samoans, the Hardy Boys versus the Demolition, the British Bulldogs versus the Strike Force, Harlem Heat versus the Mega Powers, and Edge and Christian versus the Money Incorporation. Listen, these are the top um oh my god, I almost lost my thought. The top tag teams of the WWE. Uh, Hector, what's your prediction in this tournament?
If I'm looking at straight wrestling technician, I like the Steiner brothers. Because
Duly
they, I mean,
noted.
because they do have the all around wrestling technician and strength, power to
Uh
go
huh.
along with that. Um, but you never know. You may get an upset here somewhere. I mean, you get teams who are, you got superstars who are not related but know how to function really well together, like Edge and Christian. You know,
Right.
so many TLC matches and multiple time tag team champions. So I mean, you just never know.
You
You
know,
know.
if it was anything I would be looking forward to is the Road Warriors versus the Demolition in the finals, because that's the only way they can see it, right? We've seen the match between Edge and Christian and the Hardy Boys. Then you also have the Dudley Boys. So it's like the ones that made TLC during this tournament, right? We've
Yeah.
also seen the Demolition. Okay, one of the longest champions until the New Day crushed it, right? Yeah, I didn't include the New Day. I think they wouldn't even crush anything with these tag teams here. To be honest with you, um, Kobe might lose less than 8 seconds.
Oh my gosh. The minute the bell rings, I know that's right.
It's sad. The Bushwhackers would do it. Whoa. But the Road Warriors, man, I love that tag. It's one of my favorite tag teams. They were the Legion of Doom in WWE, but everywhere else, they were the true Road Warriors, man, because they always performed.
Yeah.
Um, what else do I like here?
I mean,
Uh,
you can't take away from Harlem Heat. They have been known to do their thing together as brothers.
was it Booker
Uh,
T? Right? Yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
and his brother. Yeah, they definitely. I would see they have a slight advantage against the Mega Powers because to me, the Mega Powers is very dysfunctional. They weren't very
Between
cohesive.
Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage, for those of you that don't know
Yeah,
who the Mega Powers is, yeah.
they weren't very cohesive tag team. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that to me
Well,
is
that's
like,
why you had Miss Elizabeth to make sure that they were cohesive. All she had
yeah,
to do is look like she was sad and be like, all right, man, I got you.
yeah. But see, Harlem Heat never had no issues with that. There was no problem on the outside. So I don't know. You got
Mhm.
some good tag teams in there. So I mean, you can't count out the Dudley Boys. They know how to do hardcore matches themselves. So
I
yeah,
about to tell you what, man. It's going to be awesome starting Monday to see how it develops. So stay tuned to the hhwshow.com under the blog and catch up to each round every day. Each day there will be an elimination. And I like that because I'll put it back. And the whole key is this, right? There are scenarios into this that I didn't discover. I mean, that I did discover, excuse me. The round of 16 is a tornado match. Then you move into the quarterfinals, which is a tables match. And the semifinals is a steel cage match. And then the very final is the TLC match. So there's a lot going on here. And can these tag teams be able to accomplish something that no other tag team has done? And that is why it is called the Fantasy Tournament.
Hmm.
Gotta love it.
Yeah, definitely. Tornado rules. I like that. You know, you got some
I
good.
mean, I only seen one tornado match in WWE so far, but I wish that they could do more of that instead of depending on tagging and everything else. I want more action.
Yeah, definitely. I
Yeah,
want I want camera angles from both sides of the ring, just seeing what's going on.
absolutely.
You know.
Yeah. But anyways, hey, we appreciate everything. Thank you for joining us on Thursday night on the HHW show. Tune in next week as we get closer to the next PLE. And what other developments can we witness? And the takeaway is going to be all fun and can't wait. So join us next week on our next episode on the Hard Hitting Wrestling Show. Thank you,
Yeah.
everyone. Oh, yeah. Got him. If I get there. Yeah. Yeah.
Let me
Nope.
talk to you.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not talking to nothing right now.
You
Yeah. I don't know what happened.
just saw gas, no brakes, and yara main.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. I don't even know what happened.
That's all right.
It's not all right. I can't do this anymore. No. I guess we're gonna silently just call
Just
it. Yeah,
quits.
we're just gonna silently say goodbye. Let's wave.
Just wave
Shall we
goodbye.
wave?
We're
Yeah.
just waving.
Bye, everybody.
Adios.
Bye. Oh, I hear my music. Oh, bye, everybody. Yeah.
You hear
Bye.
me?